45 days before. Best Thanksgiving food I'd ever had. No crappy cranberry sauce, just huge slabs of moist white meat, corn, green beans cooked in enough bacon fat to make them taste like they weren't good for you, biscuits with gravy, pumpkin pie for dessert, and a glass of red wine for each of us. "I believe," Dolores said, "that you're supposed to drink white with turkey, but now I don't know about y'all, but I suppose I don't give a shit." We all laughed and drank all wine, and then after the meal we each listed our gratitudes. My family always did that before the meal, and we all just rushed through it to get to the food. So the four of us sat around the table and shared our blessings. I was thankful for the fine food and the fine company, for having a home on Thanksgiving. "A trailer, at least," Dolores joked. "Okay, my turn," Alaska said. "I'm grateful for having just had my best Thanksgiving in a decade." Then the colonel said, "I'm just grateful for you, Mom." And Dolores laughed and said, "That dog won't hunt, boy." I didn't exactly know what that phrase meant, but apparently it meant that was in etiquette, because then the colonel expanded his list to acknowledge that he was grateful to be the smartest human being in this trailer park. And Dolores laughed and said, "Good enough." And Dolores, she was grateful that her phone was back on, that her boy was home, and that Alaska helped to cook, and that I had kept the colonel out of her hair, that her job was steady and her co-workers were nice, that she had a place to sleep and a boy who loved her. I sat in the back of the hatchback on the drive home, and that is how I thought of it, home, and fell asleep to the highway monotonous lullaby. 43 days before. Kuzalikas. Entire business models built around selling cigarettes to minors and alcohol to adults. Alaska looked at me with disconcerting frequency when she drove, particularly since we were winding through a narrow, hilly highway south of school, headed to the aforementioned Kuza Likas. It was Saturday, or last day of real vacation. "Which is great if all you need is cigarettes, but we need booze, and a card for booze, and my ID blows, but I'll flirt my way through." She made a sudden and unsignaled left turn, pulling onto a road that dropped precipitously down a hill with fields on either side. And she gripped the steering wheel tight as we accelerated, and she waited until the last possible moment to brake. Just before we reached the bottom of the hill, there stood a plywood gas station that no longer sold gas with a faded sign bolted to the roof. "Kuzalikas, we cater to your spiritual needs." Alaska went in alone and walked out the door 5 minutes later, weighed down by 2 paper bags filled with contraband, 3 cartons of cigarettes, 5 bottles of wine, and a fifth of vodka for the colonel. On the way home, Alaska said, "You like knock-knock jokes?" "Knock-knock jokes?" I asked. "You mean like knock-knock?" "Who's there?" replied Alaska. "Who? Who? What are you, an owl?" I finished. "Lame." "That was brilliant," said Alaska. "I have one. You start." "Okay. Knock knock." "Who's there?" said Alaska. I looked at her blankly. About a minute later I got it, and laughed. My mom told me that joke when I was 6. It's still funny. So I could not have been more surprised when she showed up sobbing at room 43 just as I was putting the finishing touches on my final paper for English. She sat down on the couch, her every exhalation a mix of whimper and scream. "I'm sorry," she said, heaving. Snot was dribbling down her chin. "What's wrong?" I asked. She picked up a Kleenex from the coffee table and wiped her face. "I don't," she started, and then a sob came like a tsunami. Her cry so loud and childlike that it scared me, and I got up, sat down next to her, and put my arm around her. She turned away, pushing her head into the foam on the couch. "I don't understand why I screw everything up," she said. "What, like with Maria? Maybe you were just scared." "Scared isn't a good excuse," she shouted into the couch. "Scared is the excuse everyone has always used." I didn't know who everyone was or when always was, and as much as I wanted to understand her ambiguities, the slyness was growing annoying. "Why are you upset about this now?" "It's not just that. It's everything. But I told the colonel in the car." She sniffled, but seemed done with the sobs. "While you were sleeping in the bag. And he said he'd never let me out of his sight during pranks, that he couldn't trust me on my own. I don't blame him. I don't even trust me." "It took guts to tell him," I said. "I have guts, just not when it counts. Will you, And she sat up straight and then moved towards me, and I raised my arm as she collapsed into my skinny chest and cried. I felt bad for her, but she'd done it to herself. She didn't have to rat. "I don't want to upset you, but maybe you just need to tell us all why you told on Mount Moria. Were you scared of going home or something?" She pulled away from me, and gave me a look of doom that would have made the eagle proud, and I felt like she hated me or hated my question, or both. And then she looked away, out the window, towards the soccer field, and said, "There's no home." "Well, you have a family," I backpedaled. "She talked to me about her mom just that morning. How could the girl who told that joke 3 hours before becoming a sobbing mess?" Still staring at me, she said, "I try not to be scared, but I still ruin everything. I still fuck up." "Okay," I told her. "It's okay." I didn't even know what she was talking about anymore. One vague notion after another. "Don't you know who you love, Pudge? You love the girl who makes you laugh, and shows you porn, and drinks wine with you. You don't love the crazy sullen bitch." And there was something to that, truth be told.